Hi, today I'm doing a video on the V matrix of a wind archer. So this is the Reboot server. So the trinodes is going to be slightly different than what you would go for if you're in regular server, because regular server you can get frenzy. So, for example, sentient arrow would be a decent investment, and it would actually help training a lot. So let's start with the basics. When you're level 200, you want to start with all your basic skill nodes. So that would be Howling Gale, Merciless Wind, Vortex Sphere, and Gale Barrier. And as soon as you can, you want to craft a Holy Symbol. So this would be your level 200 setup as soon as you can. So then let's talk about the trinodes that you would use, right? So Wind Archer is very simple. You only have one training trinode and one bossing trinode. So the training trinode is Fairy, Spiral, Spiraling Vortex, and Monsoon. The bossing trinode is Trifling Wind, Song of Heaven, and Stonebringer. So if you're just starting out and you don't really have the node stones, you can just like look for 3 tri pairs, and they're definitely really easy to get, right? Like, so I opened them relatively quickly. So for example, if I'm training, I would just pop these 3. If they're max, you only need 2. But when I was starting out, I had 3 level 15 boost nodes. And if you're like you don't have that many node stone slots because you're low level, then you can take out Gale Barrier when you're training and Merciless Wind. So it would look like this, yeah. Because when you're early level, Merciless Wind won't do that much since it's not one-shotting, and Gale Barrier, you don't really need it for training. Right, so the beginning of the game at level 200, you would just want to get as many levels as fast as possible, and also work on your Arcane Force, right? And let's say you're bossing, so you would just remove your training nodes and then put in your bossing nodes, like so. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So then you want to work on obviously getting your trinodes to be maxed, right? And later on, it actually does make a difference. So you want to set up like 2 of your bossing nodes and then 2 of your um, farming nodes, because your trifling wind is also, in a sense, like a farming skill, because it will go and tag monsters around you. Sometimes they do finish off monsters if you're strong enough, but you have to be pretty strong, right? Then, so let's say this is, so your basic node setup should look something like this when you're like 235, I think. 234, yeah. And then you want to max your skill nodes in the order of Howling Gale, Vortex Sphere, and Merciless Wind. You don't really need to max Gale Barrier because it doesn't do that much damage, but you can just work your way up, right? And then other nice nodes to have is Rope Lift. You can just use that for mobility. But we also have an up jump, but Rope Lift is always just nice to have, so I have that as soon like as I can. But you don't really need it for bossing. Then the other nodes is Transcendent Sickness Blessing, Phoenix Charge, and Vicious Shot. So then after these 3 nodes are max, you can also work on your Holy Symbol too. That's just a very nice skill to have. Then you work on Transcendent Sickness Blessing, Vicious Shot, and Phoenix Charge. These are all good skills to have. Then you can also work on Guided Arrow. It's good for bossing and mobbing. It doesn't do that much damage when you're bossing, but for mobbing, it's nice. If it gets close to a 2-shot or 1-shotting, it will boost your rates a lot. As for decents, and when you're 235, of course, the Well Skill node, it's just good for mobbing. And after that, I would put in Decent Combat Order. So this is my current setup, right? If you're low on nodes, you can, of course, take out the farming nodes if you're not farming. And afterwards, you can work on these other skills, which is Erda Nova, since we don't have a bind. Well of Erda, we don't have a Heroes of World skill. In the future, we will. I think a future KMS update, Cygnus Knights will have this well skill to ignore abnormal status, which is very nice. But you don't really need it. It's just nice to have. There's Blink. Blink is going to be changed a little bit so that the passive effect will give us attack, which is pretty nice. And it's a good skill to dodge Lucid Dragon. Yeah. Right. There is Era Shower for additional mobbing, and a decent advanced blessing once you have enough node slots to put it in. Right. I have decent Sleep Infusion just for training, since yeah, it's not really necessary. But yeah, that's it. That's all the. So this is my current setup for my nodes. Right. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And thanks for watching.